Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. After that short break, we return with the next series up, ready, and waiting for you. But before we do that, we're going to be introducing a new set of casters that will be joining us in the booth for this next series. And alongside that, a quick thank you to all our partners that allow us to make these events possible. Intel, Telus, NRJ, Melty, Esports Insider, Riccobono, the ones that to thank you very much to those. Magnum as well, I'm sure you could have a bit of a pleasure of one of those. Get yourself an ice cream to enjoy while watching this next series. Plazer as well, a streaming service which allows all users to watch videos, clips on demand through their devices on mobile and PC. Hyperus, a source of wonderful products where you can make sure you relax yourself after a tough day or a tough game of football, whatever sport it is, or your thumbs to have a bit of a relax after a sweaty gaming session. And finally, it will be Nicecactus, the ones helping us support this event. They put on fantastic events throughout every single month for every single game as well. 2,000 in total is the amount they normally put on, and you yourself can join because it's catering for every single level of whatever game you play. And also, not to mention the two other games which are part of the Monaco Gaming Show in Fortnite, and I believe it is Warzone as well. But other than that, I want to welcome Spooks and Danny Boy into the casting booth. Danny, I'm going to start with you. What did you think of that series?
Well, that series was incredible throughout, Swaces. It was Sandrock who dominated. Sandrock that was from Sweden, as you described it earlier. And Boyo, I know we have Spooks here, the Navi caster from, of course, the last regional, who was sitting there sort of going, this was going to be a difficult one. But we both have a great appreciation for Embry. That was at least a decent showing from him. Let's want to see more from him in the future, though.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see more from him in the future, to see where he ends up on our roster, maybe see if URLCS runs out of him, if he so can make it in the next split. But that's all for the future there. It was a decent performance on this Navi team just filling in, but they were against Sandrock. They couldn't do enough. Sandrock are a powerhouse team at the moment. They have proven themselves to be so good. They are a team to beat, and now, well-deservingly in that semi-final spot. It's going to be very tough for Dignitas waiting there as well.
Well, potentially very much difficult as well, too. We could sit here and have a longer debate on that series, but I would like to shift the attention, gentlemen, to this next series as well, too. And speaking about Major, it is Endpoint coming into this one, played 131 games so far during the main RLCS season. And Swaces, Relate Wave, probably one of the decent players, but I want to maybe slightly focus on Matsunora's, the very much the oldest player probably in some people's eyes. We'll know Spooks get a good giggle of that slightly later, of course. They, and specifically him, looks rejuvenated.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, this team as well, Seiko just seems to be a player which has just uplifted them as well a little bit more. Metsunora's, as you say, the veteran player on this roster, just brings that supportive character into the game. He likes to be the man just to roam around the field, collect up the dust, which Relating Wave and Seiko just leave behind, making sure they stay solid in rotation, collecting anything that goes a little bit wrong. And he is that secure player which really does bring a lot of rigidity to this roster.
Well, potentially that sort of roster as well, too, as you saw briefly there on the bracket there. The two semi-finalists at least confirmed their Dignitas and Sandrock Gaming, but we are definitely moving down to the Endpoint, Queso, Vitality and Liquid. We will have future comments about that Liquid series, especially from myself. But Spooks, the opposition side, Queso coming into this one here. I must say, as of roster here, the coach, like yourself, Nick, who has came out slightly of nowhere here, has at least a decent set of results here. What is the goal from them coming into this tournament? Is it to win here, or is it at least just get one upset and that's a good day's work for them?
I think as a Team Queso side, you are always looking to maybe win. They are on a bit of a high, of course, with their last regional event going quite well, actually, getting into that 5th to 8th spot. But for this, you're going up against Endpoint, winning 2 regionals. It's always going to be hard, so you're looking to really just make this go to Game 7, and I think for yourself, it would be a wonderful job done.
Well, a wonderful job in that situation here. But, gentlemen, I think we've been agreeing for a majority of the broadcast so far. I like a bit of disagreement. How about maybe with a little style of an RLCS thumbs up, thumbs down with you, Swiss's Boyo and, of course, Spooks here. Let's see if it's Seiko. Is he been an improvement with this Endpoint roster? I presume this is going to be at least somewhat of an agreement overall here. Is it been successful? We'll start with you, Spooks.
Yes. How could you not say it's an improvement? That's the biggest thumb up you can put for anyone. Winning 2 regionals. How much more do you need?
Well, I don't know there. Suesis, Boyo, do you sit there and agree with that there, or any form of disagreements, or has the other two just stepped up to the plate?
Of course, he's fantastic, isn't he? He's a brilliant player every single time. Endpoint, they've just been contenders for every single regional, and as well, going into the major, didn't really do too well, but, you know, I say didn't do too well. They made top 8. That's a pretty formidable effort, but they kind of were expected to go a bit further, but yeah, definitely Seiko was a fantastic addition.
All right, well, sir, scrap the rest of this one. We'll just move straight on to predictions, because Suesis, we'll start with you. Best of 7, let's not forget this here. Who's going to take it?
Oh, it's got to be Endpoint all day, every day. I'm going to say it's going to be a 4-1 series as well.
Boyo?
I'm going to go against the grain. I do think Endpoint are the favourites, but I'm going to go for Queso. I have faith in Queso, and I think they're going to take it 4-2.
Well, there's been a slight disagreement, but gentlemen, thank you very much for your opinion as we are slowly moving on to our next series, what is Queso and Endpoint and Spooks. We heard those two. Are we going to see a more dividing in terms of this production here? Because I believe you'd be hinting towards Endpoint. That's where at least our green room conversation was so far.
Well, I actually wanted to go against the grain, but then Boyo just took the spotlight from me, so Endpoint. It's hard to go against them right now. They're looking more on fire. Of course, did really well in the majors, especially for a first major in so long. I said before, winning 2 regionals is no joke, and against Team Queso, who I still respect highly, it's just not going to happen. Team Endpoint all the way.
Well, I was going to be the one who was going to disagree as well. I think Queso will provide some entertainment. I like to see an upset, and we haven't really had one yet, so we'll say that is the case. Don't forget, on each channel you can have your predictions, and say no, our good friends over in Rocket Big is streaming in French just in case as well too. Our match is moving quite shortly, but we'll talk about more about those points here, Spooks, because we do know Endpoint has a decent track record, but let's not forget this, it is 2-1 their head-to-head record in the recent RLCS. They haven't actually played during the qualifiers, obviously. Endpoint was one of the invited teams, so there was no need for them to play against each other. But it was the invitational of the RLCS when they had played, and it was a Queso win. Let's not forget about this. They did have and can beat Endpoint, but not recently.
I look at that invitational win more so in a way that it's the first time we really saw Endpoint playing with Psycho. It was always going to be a bit jittery, always going to be figuring out how things are going to work, and after that they trioed them and 3-2'd them. Endpoint recently has been the better one out of the 2, and yes, you can say, oh, Queso has beaten them before, but it's always going to be hard for them with the way that this team just works together, just vibes together, and is just looking together.
Well, potentially looking much better in those situations, but we might as well mention the full of the record as well too, that regional winners in 1 and 2 in the recent RLCS as well too, but the second one they didn't, and if my memory serves me correct, and I know Craftman will be screaming in our background, they didn't boot camp for that, maybe the potential reason why they did lose that one, and then in the major they lost to FaZe recently. And Spooks, we can sit here and break this into quite a lot here, but Queso, their record is slightly bewildering. It's just a case, can they step up here today?
Well, can they step up? That's for them to show us, and they do get off right from the get-go with this game number 1. It is right from the get-go. Queso looking good, and maybe a tiny bit of a mess-up coming around. Maybe you won't see too much from this game, so Endpoint has time to reconsider what they might need to do, and just wake themselves up again, because that was Team Queso looking to get away right from the get-go.
Well, potentially, I must say I quite enjoy the the false start to that there. A bit more time for your predictions coming in as well too, but maybe Dignitas would have preferred a small reset here as well too. They were 4-3 earlier today, but of a slow start from them. But Queso, to me, they have to come out starting really quickly. They have to get it on the bounce. And we saw that especially with Yukio, what a performance he stepped in. Is there in the form of potentially Rise, or is Joyo going to be the standout player? I've yet to see them come up to the big stage here, Team Queso, and actually dominate a series against probably, if you want to call it, the big five of the European region.
Well, you say Rise or Joyo. I'm actually looking at Fatira. That is a name that doesn't get the amount of respect it really should be getting, because he alone has looked so incredibly good. Every time I've casted him, of course, with Navi, he looked amazing. He's doing things alone. He's setting things up for his teammates. He's pretty much doing everything all around the field for his team. If he can do that here as well, it would just help Team Queso so much more.
Well, so much more, and with that being the case as well, 50% win rate. But just to cast your mind back to a year ago, the warm-up edition of the Monaco Gaming Show, this lineup potentially would have been the legs of Endpoint versus Vodafone Giants. And if you were an Endpoint fan, I'm sorry to bring up old memories, that was a 3-0, but mind you, Virtuoso was on that team, no longer the case. But this game one finally underway with the right conditions here, and Rise with a decent open chance here, tries to force it through, not happening just yet, but there is a second wave coming across here, and the player that Spooks was highlighting cannot get it in.
It's kind of funny also to think about. Yes, Virtuoso got kicked off Endpoint. He still made it here. He still came here and just barely lost to Dignitas with the reverse sweep. He still was on the stage to play, so all respect to that.
Well, huge credit to, of course, getting into these situations here, but Queso to the back lines here. They've earned to right here through the qualifiers, had a slip up in qualifier one. And eventually got here for the fourth and final one here, as this one to the back line. Metanours, whip up the ball here until the follow through here, and good defense here. Seiko straight across, and that's goal number one.
A good backfire right away from Endpoint. You saw Team Queso getting a tiny bit of a better start, but Seiko instantaneously punishes a tiny mistake, a tiny bit of a bad touch out to the side, and boom, it ends up in the back of your own net, and Endpoint opens us up right away. If this ball goes on to the side, it's Jojo taking control with the flip reset as well, and the musty flick, getting it into the middle, but no one to find apart from Relating Wave blocking him off.
Potentially, with that being the case here, 90 seconds already gone by, that one goal going against Queso. We said they had to come out the blocks firing here. They have yet to do that here. Back across here, goes low. That's excellent. That looks like a wide open net. It is, and that is 1-1.
Jojo instantaneously punishing it back. It's a tiny mistake from both these teams, and you see it right away. You get punished. You cannot make a mistake here on this field with these players. You are not allowed to make those types of mistakes. It's what we like to see from these teams, and it's what we're seeing right here.
We talk about these teams not being allowed to make mistakes here. We talk about high-level quality. This team went to Sweden. We keep mentioning that fact. They were highly tipped off here, but let's not forget about it. If we cast your mind to the start of the season, Spooks, a lot of them had them written off as a team that wasn't going to do much. They had a youngster on the team who was unproven at that time.
Unproven? Well, I don't think anyone is gonna say that at this point anymore. Unproven can be thrown out of the window. He has proven everything and a lot more than what we expected or could have ever hoped for. But right now it's Fatira looking for the flip reset, doesn't get it past Psycho, who is in the right spot at the right time. It's now still Endpoint on the defensive end, has to get past Yo-Yo. Just Relating with taking a bit of control. Fatira blocking him off, looking to get it into the midfield once again, doesn't get it because Relating Wave is in its path.
Well, at least into the middle here, that idea of a pathway is might be favouring Endpoint. Backs away, Force 50 and Metanours. Well, they have a bit of time here in that crucial match against FaZe. He was unfortunately not firing on all cylinders, and this is a decent couple of attacks here by Endpoint. Ricochets all the way back, 2 minutes still kicking around in this game one here. Endpoint not dominating, and Queso, they've grown into it. They've got a bit of life into it. Rise to bring it into middle, not happening, and we go back into this even battle.
A bit of life, but Relating Wave is taking away that life with this demo, and the spawn is just perfect for Team Queso. That is exactly what you need at the right time. Spawns in and gets a good pinch away from his own field. Now Psycho is in an awkward spot Demo comes out once again from Norris. Endpoint, they may have changed rosters a tiny bit, but their mentality is still there of if you're in the way, get out of the way, we're bumping or demoing you.
I haven't seen plenty of demos so far here, but there's always that sort of quiver. Ready and waiting here as this ball waiting to be popped up. It does eventually do so here off the ceiling, straight down. Unfortunately, Queso not able to get the full attacks going here. Back across into the middle here at Endpoint. Too sluggish. They're not able to bounce on the clearances right now. Are they trying to absorb all the pressure? Doesn't feel like it. It looks a bit lethargic as Metzenor is beaten. Relating Wave not.
And there comes a quick counter-attack that almost finds the back of the net and Relating Wave. Second time coming, and he finds it himself after a double fake. No, CeX actually, apparently he touches that. Apparently he does touch that. Don't know how.
We'll let that one be decided by everybody else. Either way, the scoreboard's the only thing that everybody will be carrying right now. 2-1. 40-odd seconds near enough to get the second goal here for Team Queso. Straight around here, forced into a ball. Left lingering for Joyo to do something with it. Force fit the cross field. And Relating Wave redirects it, not with full control, however.
Back into the yard box. You see that CeX with a really awkward save. Does get it though. Joyo has the control, has the flip reset. Can he get the touch? He brings it down beautifully.
If you asked me before coming into this broadcast, this was the match of the quarter-final. Might be living up to the billing. What a goal. Endpoint baffled by Team Queso. 4 goals apiece, 2-2. And 22 seconds before OT. We shall have a bit more action here unless Endpoint would like to remove the option here as that's wide open. Off the line here enough here in Seiko. Right around here, 10 seconds, the full countdown. And Metzenor out of position, Relating Wave drops all the way back, and that is a cushion required.
It's still Endpoint on the orange side, but doesn't have the control. This ball would just drop on down. Game number 1, it's an overtime, and how exciting could it be as Team Queso trying to get onto the offense right from the get-go, isn't able to do it right on there. Metzenor goes too high. Lucky for him, Seiko is behind him and Relating Wave behind there. All of them following up on that one missed touch.
First time these two teams played in the best of 7. We mentioned about their track record so far. Want to make sure you're an Endpoint fan to keep squashing the hopes here, Queso. This is not the way to do it. Metzenor's low boost infield it shall be, but Queso comfortably into the corner. Infield pass only to be met by very little resistance here. Back into hopefully something will occur here, and that's a decent here by Joyo once more.
And once again, you can see Endpoint is looking for these demos. They're looking to create some type of disturbance on the defense. And while Joyo still gets the ball gone with 0 boost, you're not going to be able to follow that up. Leaving Endpoint once again to get out, but Rice, huge block. Can he get it again? No, this time around, Metzenor found himself in the right spot. Once again, it's needed and needed. Team Queso, when they set themselves up, they are non-stop following through. Maybe another backward touch, this one too high and put away.
Potentially, Joyo blocked and moves away down here. So sitting patiently into the back lanes and to the halfway line, just being blocked here by Endpoint. No, Crafters is sitting there, nail biting here, looking at the mid lane, looking at the passing lanes. And supporting his boys in blue. Here's the shot on target, saved off the line once more. Just pounding Endpoint, waiting to see where the break is, and the break not occurring, but it's a scramble in front of the box here. Endpoint should have been in the situation with a 3-2 scoreline, but somebody has to be back in time. They haven't until Relating Wave. Scramble from left and right here. This isn't breakfast time. It should be near enough, just starters.
Norris brings it back into the midfield. No one there to finish it off, so he has to go again. And can't do it all alone. Now, once again, gets another good touch. Still in front of the net, but not inside of the net. And right again, Team Queso survives their defensive hold and can push back out to the blue side. Relating Wave can't get it himself. Shots down from Joyo, but not past Metzenor, and a Psycho has a bit of a breakout. Can he get it down? He does get it down, but the shot hits the crossbar. It means Team Queso can break out once again.
Strong moves in, wavering around. Metinora's control, the experience on those wheels that he controls right now. Really in the way of waiting for the pass, never arrives, beaten away here. Endpoint 2 in the back lanes. Is it enough to stop Joyo? It seems to be temporarily. Back into middle. We're now near enough approaching 3 minutes of OT here, but a shot to the side, and Rare near enough gets one in. Not happening. Just not happening here for Team Queso, but Endpoint lives and fights, but the post saves him for the second time.
If Living on the Edge ever had an image and a video clip attached, it would be Endpoint right now. They are not comfortable at all. They are definitely being pushed back quite a lot. Now Fatira has the control. Can he get another touch? No, not himself. And I see a couple of bumps happening there from Metinoris. Brings it there again, but no one there to finish it off. Metinoris has brought that ball in front of the net so many times, and it's just no one there to finish it.
That's the problem. When you sit there and want somebody to finish it, the follow-up's not there in Spooks. Somebody's going to have to be brave enough to take that risk here. Who on this pitch is the likely to do? Because right now here, feels like nobody is brave enough just yet.
It's Metinoris non-stop bringing that ball in front, but we're looking at maybe Psycho to come to the front, get that finish, get that last touch that you really are in need of right now. As he takes control right here. Can he do it maybe all by himself? Gets the flip reset, but not past the defender. That means that Team Queso can reset themselves once again. Gets the ball fully gone. Makes everyone just get a bit of boost as Psycho looks to do it himself. The ceiling not working in his favor, and Metinoris with the control. And Danny, we may be looking at one of your dream scenarios.
If anybody doesn't know that, I've been asking for a 20-minute OT for I think 2.5 years. Record roughly around 18 minutes and 19 seconds. I believe it was the play. Rocket Baguette was the organizer of that tournament. His shot goes wide, so this OT still continues ticking on. Our friends, of course, the French Rocket Baguette is streaming on their particular channel here. On the English, we still do battle, of course, streaming both games here. This ball left up here, fitted in the mid lane, really in the wave, can drag this one up and over, but resistance still being met here. And Team Queso, credit to this very much a young side here, keeping their nerves at bay.
Norris taking the control, looking to bring it back into the midfield once again. He does, but still no one there to finish it off. Leading to Fatira getting it out of his own part, out of his own corner. Now Rise getting it past the one. Can he get it past the second? It drops on down. Is there someone to finish it off? No! It gets saved and pushed to the side. A relating wave helps him with the second time coming. But Rise, so much time, but still not a goal. Both these teams are looking to create so much, but can't get past the defenders once again. Everyone is holding on strong.
Just those 50s that Endpoint produced. Queso whips it from the side here. 6 minutes now, breathing down here. A mistake will haunt them, but this is only game one. Only game one in a potential best of 7 here in the quarter-final stage. Madness perceives and presumes as Joya looking to consume Endpoint. Not happening, and Metinoris from his original play didn't recover quick enough, but still upfield to do something more with the play. Hasn't fully occurred just yet. Ball has to be whipped in at some stage, and Queso deals with it up to the backboard, and there it is, dropping right in front for a related wave.
Really trying to take control here, gets intercepted as well, and there's the follow-up, of course. Metinoris once again goes under the second, but can't get it past Fatira. And with the demo that leads to Endpoint having to reset themselves once again. Relating Wave trying his best to do it, maybe all alone, can't do it. Metinoris onto the backboard, gives a lot of free time to Psycho. Pass it to the midfield, gets intercepted. Joyo saw it coming and leaves it all alone for Rise, but takes it all across the field and gives it away to Metinoris once again. Both these teams are really playing not to lose. You can see how much the defense is just trying their best to hold on to this overtime.
Really in the wave to the back lines. The OT knocks over with the long distance clear, and Metinoris tries to throw the similar punch downfield, and that's a shot coming off the post. That shall be follow through here, not going to roll its way in. It would be such a pathetic way if it was going to end. Not to occur here. Both sides want to finish off in some kind of style as Joyo downfield drops it but continues. Not enough to play on to it, however. And this one tipped to the ceiling. Psycho right to the back wall. Joyo to match it. Likewise, a swing into the middle, perhaps. Yes, of course, for Endpoint. And back into the middle to field for Relate Wave to gather and smother. And it's found a teammate likewise, but we're near enough, knocking on the door for 8 minutes in OT.
It's non-stop Endpoint. You see it creeping more and more in favor of Endpoint. They are the ones that get more shots on target, but what that can lead to is to a bit of easiness, and the easiness for Vatira to just shoot it on in. Just past 8 minutes, and he finds the back of the net.
Last time Spooks and I casted in some kind of a big major event, 20k prize. Well, this one was near enough, I believe, 9 to 11 minutes, roughly in that ballpark with Sandrock Gaming and Rick's GG. I said that was probably going to be one of the classics, and that was in game 6. This was only game 1, Spooks. We're going to have 7 more games in total, and I think they're going to be of similar quality here. What a way for this one to end so far.
If this goes the distance to game 7, if we get any more of these types of overtimes, I don't think my heart can handle that, Danny. I can already hear it beating as fast as it can right now. And we're only getting underway with game number 2 right now. An 8-minute overtime is something some casters can only dream of. And we've just had it in game 1 as Jojo looks to set himself up right from the get-go.
Some dream of 8 minutes, some fear it. If you're on the losing side of it, it's just regret here as a double touch goes beckoning. And Metsinoris doesn't go missing in the backlines. He's there for the counter, a 1-2, and nobody from Tween Queso. We saw 8 minutes of perfect Rocket League, and to some extent, with not conceding, well, it only took 25.
8 minutes. 8 minutes did the defense hold on. And now you have this, and that type of shot goes through. The wonders of Rocket League. Isn't it beautiful, Danny?
We'll be wondering for plenty more time here what is left in this bag of tricks here. It's near enough a year ago since we've been here before, doing this very much the same event here. And Christmas is only around the corner. Will there be more gift giving here from Endpoint? Near enough a freebie in front of the net here. Infield pass, not happening. Nobody was there really. We will be thankful to Metsinoris pass to the back wall, whipped away.
Bit of patience, attempted patience coming out from Team Queso, but they cannot let up. You need to speed yourselves back up to how you played in that overtime. You need to be challenging every single ball. You cannot give so much freedom to Endpoint because it's once again Endpoint onto the offense. Relay Wave, that ball just a tiny bit too far away from him, but this is a good touch once again for Tira. Looking for a solo attempt maybe this time around, gets the flip reset. Can he get the shot? It looks to do it, but there are 2 defenders up. Always gonna be an incredibly tough task.
Especially so, especially when Relate Waves onto the back wall. Waiting patiently. Up it goes here at Metsinoris out of the play temporarily after his failed attempt at winning the ball over. And Queso looking to continue further. Free shot! And I believe that was Metsinoris going flyby, trying to save that one.
Flyby and say bye-bye. And Fatira will say thank you much. Gets that shot, gets the angle, of course, most importantly. And gets his team back tied up. And I'm getting a tiny bit of deja vu from game number 1, which we also saw it just go back and forth and almost rise, getting it past Metsinoris.
Their coach, Nicholas, sitting there and just waiting for the opportunity, waiting to see what his team can do on one of the biggest stages. Will he be happy with the majority of his performance from his team? Except for the last 5 seconds, that's been the worst they've done so far.
I keep getting hyped. Team Queso comes out with beautiful goals, and then this comes in from Psycho, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot what you can do. You have to respect him though. Like, as a defender, you see Psycho go up for a flip reset. You have to respect it. You cannot just go at it like, oh, he's not gonna get this, or he's not gonna be able to do anything with this. He is. He's capable of it. So you are looking to defend that, and then he just completely does nothing with it, and it just bounces past you.
Well, shows you what you need to do. A bit of respect wouldn't hurt. Just gotta know what your opposition is truly capable of and play the percentage. Play the percentage. Spooks, it was once tied. Endpoint did take the lead. They've also lost it in the same amount of time.
I would love for people to see my face right now. It's just the face of, yeah, this just happened. Yeah. Because both these teams, remember, 8-minute overtime, 8 minutes of solid defense where nothing could get through. And now 2 of those goals back to back.
Well, this is going to be a catalyst-like performance here. We might see 16 minutes of an OT, but we'll see, of course, how this goes on further. Another block into the middle here, and Spooks, we were talking about that respect side of it here. Queso not necessarily giving any, but they certainly need to be given some themselves here. Is that one off the post? We've seen Scrub Killer do an own goal. I don't think that was as good.
I still think the one from Dignitas where they pinch it into their own net is a bit better, but this is it's a clean read from the backboard. It's not bad. Just that it was on the wrong net. That is bad, but it's Team Queso leading once again, 3-2. I think probably what everyone would like, especially Psycho, is just to move away from that.
Well, hopefully. But will that be the deciding goal in game number 2?
Oh,
no,
my.
it won't.
I'm just left speechless. Sorry for cutting you off, Danny, but... Jojo? Okay, I see you. I think you realized that maybe the goals needed to be a bit more spicy, a bit more... what do you call it, Danny?
Oh, I'll let you decide which word you want onto that flavour, because the full season of Rack went onto that display. And as Team Queso let the season hit the cauldron, they've been brewing nicely. Endpoint, well, their tournament experience come into fruition here as that ball dropped down. Far too much back here, Endpoint here, but follows up nicely the second and third time, and that does not go in. The crossbar said no. Metzenorian's furious and relating away of fuming that he's third player in this rotation. He needs some assistance.
Once again, Jojo, can he do it once again? Brings it into the middle, but the shot not on target. Leaves it open for Psycho, but the quick shot that he tried to do just is a giveaway to Fatira. But Fatira gets punished by Relating Wave, but still an opportunity presenting itself. Back down from Team Queso, but they all back off. No, they are in the lead with 2 goals. No need to really get over-aggressive. No need to really get into the face of Endpoint all that much. Because 1 minute and 2 goals is an incredibly tough task.
It's a massive task, especially at this level of quality that's on the pitch here. You would not expect to see 2-3 goals moving down here. And my apologies to anybody from Dignitas, but it has occurred once before. Here's that one off to the back wall. That first series was madness on the field here. We will see some carnage surely later on, but so far singing in harmony. Team Queso 4-2 to the better with a clock to their favour. Could be easily 2-0 against the team that went to the major. There has seemed to be no response from Endpoint.
Psycho trying to do it himself, looking for some bumps, but this is a good, huge clear from Team Queso. Here comes the control from Metzenors, but it's not going to be enough, and the clock is ticking down, and it will tick down even further. And it means Team Queso takes their second game. And like you said, from a team that went to the major, this is not what you expect to see from Team Endpoint.
Well, we certainly didn't expect it. We certainly wanted to see something much more from them. But Spooks, let's look at the whole picture here. Team Queso has simply played a game that we did not expect them to fully have it. They have ramped up the gears. Now, you can maybe make an argument that Endpoint and the teams who went to the major might be having a bit sort of a jet lag. They're not fully ready, have they played recently? But they know they have to come into, they know they have to perform as well too. Endpoint, they have performed, they just haven't got that one goal to really put Queso into their place.
I don't really trust that, like, oh yeah, we went to the major, oh yeah, we were a bit tired out. We've seen Sendrock just beat Navi. They didn't have any troubles with it. They just showed up and did exactly what was expected of a team that made a major. So, in that sense, why can't Endpoint? And Fazira answers exactly why Endpoint isn't up at all in this series.
Well, I'm just trying to give them a freebie potential excuse, Spooks. I'm trying to be generous. It is Christmas after all, but the door has been truly left open there on the back lines. Endpoint trails for the third time the series in Game 3. We haven't really seen a proper sweep so far in the quarter-final. This is the best of 7. Might be ahead of ourselves slightly, but this is the picture that has been painted so far.
Well, Danny, It's already a quite a wonderful season of the year if you start being nice. So what's going on right now, I have no idea. Everyone that's in chat as well, just listen to your ears and just enjoy this moment. It won't happen very often where Danny isn't blaming a team.
There goes Scream there.
Okay.
You want Flame. There's certainly Flame now on the end point. They've allayed themselves here. Shocking to see the 50, but stuck in an awkward situation all on the left-hand side. And Endpoint see their opposition crumble properly for the first time in a while.
And correct placement. That's all you needed in that shot, and he got it exactly where he needed to be. Now Jojo getting it onto the backward. Is there a follow-up? Yes, Rise, but he had to be quick, and that led to an incredibly hard shot. That's Psycho with the control, but gets blocked by Tira. It's the Norris shots there. Jojo puts it to the side. Very much needed, but with zero boost, you can't follow that up yourself. Relating wave with the control, looking to get it under the second, can't, as the save comes out from Tira, but it's good offense from Endpoint, exactly what they needed, and it's going all the way to the other side, and Patira once again gets his second.
Just let that sink in. Right across here. Relating we have done his best, but his best was not good enough. Queso leads for the second time. With 90 seconds near enough gone by, we might just be on the verge of potentially looking at one of the upsets of the season so far, of 2021 entirely, as this ball back down here as Terra waits patiently, loses the ball. Metanoris can only see it relate wave the push further upfield, and Rise smothers it into the corner twice.
A bit before our match, we saw Forfun Smiley Face be in a similar position as Team Queso right now. Are they gonna be able to do what Forfun Smiley Face was not able to do? Are they gonna be able to finish off maybe a sweep? Of course, we're only in game number 3, and it's only 2-1, but right now, with the way everything has been going, it's gonna be really hard for Endpoint to just come back into the series and look a lot better than what they are right now.
Well, Endpoint was watching the stream beforehand. They saw that match on their screens, and there's about to be, on the back of their minds, a thought like that creeping on in. They do not want to be the 22nd side that gets reverse with Queso, so they also have a bit of history and fate on their shoulders right now here, as this ball has to be banged downfield. No options here to really play onto it. Really, wave has almost stood still for quite some time here. Is there a problem on Endpoint? We do not know just quite yet, but he has started moving. Strange to see that occur.
Well, Psycho looking to set himself up for maybe a freestyle time, but no, gets blocked off by Jojo, who says no music for you, no freestyle for you. We won't be doing that right here. And now it's once again Team Queso onto the offense. Jojo shots there, getting blocked by Madsen Norris. Still Team Queso in a good position. Rise has the control, but can't get past Psycho. Now, good opportunity once again presenting itself, but this is the problem with Endpoint. And what's also a bit of a problem is Relating Wave not being able to move, and Rise just puts it on in. Says, thank you very much, we will not be nice to you. We will not give you the pity time to get back into this.
Well, while third goal goes in here, Brilliant Wave was not moving clearly from the demo. There must be an issue with Endpoint. In all fairness, I just want to mention that clearly. He is moving once more again here as he left his controller down and discusses there are DC issues. We don't know quite just yet here. Whatever is the issue, it was still 2-1. Before that situation, Queso was still on top here. So strange moments here in the third game here in this series. But it hasn't seemed to be affecting Related Wave right now here, as he's still being on the front foot trying to attack here. The deficit might just be too far to come back from them though.
And we said about it, I talked about it before with Forfun Smiley Face being in a similar position. Quite honestly, I have a bit more faith in a team that has been together, has trained together, and is actually always playing together than a team that is more of a pickup team. I genuinely can't believe that Team Queso is capable of sweeping it, and Crafters has to close his ears as he hears that, because I think some tears are running down his face as Jojo gets the fourth in the back of the net.
Well, without spoiling anything, Crafters will be at least the next caster on stream, and they'll certainly be mentioning it if it is a 4-0 sweep after the egging that he's been doing me for the entirety of the season long with Liquid. But I'll tell you what isn't Liquid, it's almost gas-like at the moment. Endpoint in a vapor right now. They are being passed through far too easily here, and Queso has almost found the answer beyond belief here. They cannot believe their eyes right now. 4-1 to the good. 30 seconds still left here. We might see the 5th one creep on in. We will certainly do so. Still secure, whatever you want to put it. This is 3-0 series-wise. There's no doubt about that.
Rice just looks so comfortable doing that. He's just like, oh, you're gonna go defend. Hi, I'm gonna go bring it back low for a 50. And he's just fully under control. And it's just the confidence, the confidence almost that you need. And you talked about Endpoint being a bit of a gas right now. I think Team Queso, also known as the Team of Cheese, doesn't have many holes in them, especially in the defense. They've been looking solid.
Trying to work out what type of cheese you may be referring to, but as Metanoris gets one back here, there might be a few holes left into that block of cheddar. Either way, 10 seconds ticking on by. This is just a formality so far here. There will be a few question marks. Let's not kid ourselves about relating with not moving for periods of the game there. Whether it was done deliberate, whether it was a DC or not here, they were still the beaten side here. Let's not forget this so far here, Spooks. But 3-0 Team Queso. Nobody would have thought that. Nobody would have placed into that percentage world. But we are here now.
There is one person I am really afraid of speaking to right now. And his name is Boyo Royo because he predicted Team Queso to win this. If we get into if we have a green room, if we get into the green room and I'm expecting him to be there, I don't want to be there right now. Because one, you have Crafters who's very upset with the way Endpoint is going right now. And the other hand, you have Boyo who's probably very happy right now.
Well, that's just emotions for you. What is going to be emotionally high right now will be certainly Queso. They are living the high life right now to the better here. We talked about the players stepping up to the plate here. We can't fault all three of them because they have played reasonably well. They have been comfortable. They've been confident. Their biggest issue so far during their entire season was trying to beat the sort of the top edge echelons of the team. They can get there. They just need that bit of experience, that bit of belief. This might just be the catalyst for them in the future here, but we are 3-0 here. We talked about that reverse sweep possibility being the 22nd here if they do go to lose the next 4 games, Spooks. I don't see that happening, though.
It could be, and I want to bring up a tiny bit of a thing. Game 1, we were 2-2 with 22 seconds left. How wonderful would it be if we got into the 22nd reverse sweep? It would be just a match made in heaven, really.
As long as it is quite literally a 20-minute OT at some point, I don't mind.
22.
Yeah, but I want a 20-minute OT with it.
That's what I say, 22-minute overtime.
Nah, let's just go 20 minutes.
Well, Metanoris seems to be going on his way, and we seem to have Relating Wave back again as well now. Let's see if he can stop this thing and actually fully play, because that's, of course, when Endpoint is strongest. And in my eyes, right now, normally we look at Psycho being the strong suit of Endpoint. In my eyes, Relating Wave has been the one that has been trying to do a bit more of the solo plays, a bit more of creating those opportunities, really. Here he comes all by himself, doesn't get past Rice, though, who blocks him off quite fast.
There is Rice with the ball. Trying to set himself up here, gets the flip reset, not able to use it due to the block here, so really leave all his own. Metanoris, will he go for the bump or not? Well, he attempts it and a few misplays all around here. The ball still in the final third. Seiko there around, no block. You're just wondering here, is this sort of ping-pong-esque style of play will continue here, as that was a whisker away for a 1-0 lead.
Norris having the control, tries to get back into the front. That's Psycho hitting the ball up in an awkward spot for Rice, but it's also awkward for his teammates to defend. And this ball goes all the way back to the left side of the field. Shots there, shots a bit wide. Maybe the follow-up can bring it back in front of the net. Metanoris has the control, brings it back low. That's Fatira, of course, the one to block him off right from the get-go. And Psycho gets a bump and a demo. A very important one, because this opens up a bit more space for Team Endpoint. And Psycho, where did you come from? Why? What are you doing there?
Confusion, bewilderment, Endpoint, words that you would not use recent time to this team that has created some outstanding moments here, but right now this is the case as there is an opportunity. Right hand side, sniped and gone, and that might be Endpoint gone from the tournament too.
We've talked about spices, we've talked about the cheese. This is just a chef's kiss right here. It's beautifully put down, and the shot placement is exactly where you want it to be. It's too far for the defenders to even get close to it or get any important touch on it, and it's just a good opener. Once again, within 2 minutes, Team Queso once again in the lead. Vatira looking for the controlled touches, gets on top of Psycho, who now has to struggle to get back into the defense. Once again, there comes Jojo, gets blocked off by the one that got bumped beforehand. Shots there once again, and Rise makes it 2.
Just sit here and look at it. Remember, Team Queso for the future. This side has been potent so far here. Cannot save that Endpoint. They cannot seem to save themselves from elimination with half the game still to go. They have to fight game by game, and so far, second by second it seems.
I think for Team Endpoint, it's not that bad to maybe go lose against a team like Team Queso. It is a team that is known to bring upset, to take wins where people were like, how do you even get there? They are capable of doing that, fully capable. But for Team Queso, this is such a perfect moment. It's now or never, and you have such a good setup to finish this off in a sweep against the team that went to the majors.
Metanor's moving downfield here, not happening. Relating wave, waits patiently in the back lines for the time being, and that's just a poor flick here. They expect a little bit more here, back into the middle. Metanor is straight down and around here, so again, the simple opportunities go awry here to the back wall here and follow through. Relating wave does show up, at least to give them some kind of hope.
Gives them enough hope, as this is the perfect timing, and exactly what I already expected that happened. I believe it's a bit of an own goal, sadly enough, but there were 2 people up for that. That ball would have entered the net one way or the other, and unfortunately for Team Queso, it went in with an own goal. But now it's Metanor looking to get a second quite quickly, because for Endpoint, you don't want to leave that second goal hanging until the last 30 seconds. You want to get that goal as quick as possible.
So pop up. Same 3 goals, and you want the 4th one quick enough here if you're Endpoint. So far, they're back away here as this ball's just been left in awkward situations. Nobody able to get a piece of the ball that it really is controllable. A free shot here off the line. Once again, Queso trying to break through. They haven't done so just yet here, but it's only a matter of time, it feels like, as this ball back in here. Metanor's to the right-hand side. The ball does eventually go that way. It seems not here, and Rise pops it high up, wide open net. 3 goals to 1 in game 4, and I personally would call that GG's.
This is the one thing you don't want to see happening. A defender so far pushed up that it just gives Rise so much freedom to shoot that ball on target, and it just bounces on in. And with 1 minute, exact 1 minute left, Team Endpoint needs to be quick as can be as Rise tries to get a 4th shot still there. Follow-up is there as well. Ball goes high in front of the net, and it's the 4th, and the last nail in the coffin has been put down.
Well, Endpoint removed swiftly. They've only got themselves to blame for the loss. Did they really show up? Well, that's maybe a point they might would like to consider themselves here with the next 40 odd seconds. It's almost like a stagnation here for Team Queso. They'll be moving on. Really, at that point in time here is who is the likely between Team Vitality versus Team Liquid. That will be their potential semi-final matchup here on the Monaco Gaming Show, but that there will be a series and a half as well too. But Spooks, credit here to Team Queso, they've looked fabulous.
Yes, and of course now Endpoint looking for maybe getting one more themselves, but it's nothing, it's not gonna mean much anymore. Of course, last 20 seconds, both these teams know this game has been played, this game is done. A 5th coming around for Rise, meaning 5-1 for Team Queso. And the last 3 games have just really walked away for Team Endpoint. They've just not been able to get back into the series. And it's just Team Queso amping up goals after goal after goal, one after another.
Well, they're just stat pattern, apparently so, and I know the few of the statistics sites when the RL scene will be enjoying this one for the number crunching, the processing required for that activity. But so far here, still plenty more action still to come shortly here. Both semi-finals, grand finale played, all of them best of sevens, but Endpoint will take no further action. They are out. Team Queso moves on quite happily, and Spooks, I must say, the first ever 4-0, I didn't think this was going to be the match that had it.
Honestly, looking at the games beforehand, I thought, oh, this is going to be a match. This is going to maybe go to Game 7. Out of all of the games, this one and the one with Sandrock and Navi were the ones I thought, oh, they're most likely going to Game 7. Nope, 4-1 and 4-0 this one. You never know what's going to happen with Rocket League. You never know. And especially, let me remind you, Danny, Game 1, 8-minute overtime. We were thinking of maybe this game going to Game 7, getting a lot more overtimes, a lot longer overtimes. How wrong were we?
Completely wrong, and so was a majority of everybody's predictions as well. Near enough, I think it was near enough 90% Endpoint win. Well, there's going to be some casters quite smug, some crying in the back room. We might even see one on this very broadcast shortly as well. Coming up next after this break, of course, is Team Vitality versus the very much peculiar Team Liquid. Will they have a roster finally worthy of competing? We'll see after this break.
Ce que tu vois là, c'est Nicecactus. C'est la plateforme e-sport tout en un allant du simple entraînement jusqu'au sponsoring. La plateforme s'est mise à jour récemment pour offrir plus de clarté et de fonctionnalités aux joueurs. Tu peux par exemple découvrir des entraînements sur 4 jeux majeurs, mais aussi suivre ta progression grâce à Route Tracking, la Nicecactus 360 app. En parlant de progression, il ne faut pas oublier que participer à des tournois te permet d'affronter des joueurs de tout niveau et de te confronter à de nouveaux défis. Et ça tombe bien, puisque Nicecactus te propose des tournois tous les jours sur plusieurs jeux. Et en plus de te permettre de progresser, la plateforme te permet de remporter des cash prizes et tout ça gratuitement. Alors n'attends plus et rejoins-nous sur Nicecactus.
Welcome back to the Monaco Gaming Show. The advertisements you just saw there from our fabulous sponsors, of course, Players, the streaming service allow users to watch video clips on demand and through their devices, mobile and PC. And our good friends, of course, Nicecactus, we've seen plenty of them, who is the streaming